Hi, this is Dave Farmer. We're going to do a webinar this morning on RainBird products. We're going to be looking at some of the new stuff. They've been doing a lot of work lately in bringing out new products, so I think this could be very interesting to see what's the newest and greatest thing going on with RainBird products. And I'm going to have Anita Matlock, who is an area specification manager for the Southern California area, is going to present some of these products, and then I want to show you where in Land Effects the things both that she is going to present and the important things for RainBird, where they are in Land Effects, and basically how to access them. So we're going to turn this over to Anita now and let her do her little presentation. And again, this was Anita Matlock of the RainBird Corporation.
Thank you, Dave. Can you all hear me? I assume so. Okay. Let's show my screen.
I can see that now, Anita. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Okay, well, welcome everyone. I'm going to be talking about products that have launched in the last year or two. The catalog that you should have is titled 2012. At the end of this presentation, I will give you my email address, and please contact me if you'd like the local RainBird rep to get a hold of you, or if you'd like to make sure that you do have the latest catalogs. Now, we've had a lot of new products come out, but today I'm going to focus in three areas, and that is the spray head nozzle area, the drip area, and then the controller area. And today we're going to talk about what's new with spray heads. And to that regard, we have a couple new products. One of them is a new spray head family, and another one is a high-efficiency variable arc nozzle. And I just thought I'd stop here and talk about 5 decades of innovation. So some of the folks may remember, or maybe not, the fact that in the 60s we were bringing out products and features like a stop-o-matic, which became the seal-o-matic, as far as coming out with spacings. So in the 80s we had the SAM, we added PRS, variable arcs. In the 90s was the U series, and including the 2000s where we got into rotary nozzles, top color identification, and just a host of product in that area. So continuing to innovate over 5 decades. So we do have a new family out. We will continue to support the standard 1800, but we launched a new product called the RD 1800, standing for recycled or dirty water. And one of the things we know with recycled water is that it has a lot of chlorine, and that can attack the rubber components of things like spray heads, like rotors, like valves, and we've been innovating in that area ever since. So let's talk a little bit more about the RD 1800 family. Now, to learn more about it, we have YouTube links that you can check out at a later time, gets into a lot more details about it, and you can go to RainBird and the YouTube channel RainBird and then look up 1800s or any of these products. Now, first off, you can see a little change in the appearance. This first product in front of us is actually using polypropylene, the product materials that we use for our rotors, versus the ABS material we use on the standard 1800. You can even see that the body shape is different, the base is different. And we did some things to the covers as well. So in our standard 1800, in order to identify it for non-potable, we add the cap. What we've done in the new RD 1800 is made the non-potable integral into the cap. And so we offer a standard 1800 with the special material that can withstand chlorine, but it's in white, or it is indicated in non-potable in purple. You can see some other things we've done. We've bolded the RainBird name and the model number for easier identification out in the field when you're doing your site inspections. Another change we made to the RD 1800 is we created a cold-molded wiper seal that uses 3 blades, and that way we can really protect the stem and the seal from problems. We're able to have zero flow by, really consistent pop-up and retraction, and really work independently at the higher pressures. Now we offer the SAM feature as an option, the PRS at 30 or 45 psi, just like our standard. But this feature here, the Flow Shield technology, is actually new and only on the RD1800. And what this does is, should the nozzle be removed, it restricts the flow by 90%, but you're still left with an indicator stream, and that's what we're showing here. And the amount of flow is about a 12 half pattern. So you're able to keep the entire system balanced, but the contractor now can drive around and see, oh, I have a little problem here, without seeing it with dead grass, without dead plants. So that's called the Flow Shield technology. We've also improved the ratcheting ring, so it's much more flexible and can last many, many more years over time. As I mentioned, the body change, so we actually have this unique debris catch at the bottom. The dirt stays in the bottom, not gets sucked into the filter, and that's something we learned from our rotor technology. So the RD1800 for recycled dirty water applications, has lots of great features, pressure up to 100 psi. And most importantly is how to specify this. And we'll get into this detail on when we look at the software, but basically we offer a 4, a 6, and 12 with lots of variations, whether it's PRS at 30 or 45 psi, non-potable or standard, and Flow Shield technology.
I have a question for you, Anita.
Yes.
I look at this, and what I'm thinking is, if I have a situation where it's not necessarily reclaimed water or dirty water, but it has many things to me that looks more like a Cadillac, and that's what I like specifying personally. I like specifying the highest end quality product that I can. Is it a fair statement to say, in my situation, if I wanted to specify an 1800, I would go to the RD1800 knowing I'm covered in a lot of ways with improved wiper seal, with the Flow Shield technology, with the fact that if it is somewhat dirty water, the whole head or the body will react in a more appropriate manner. Is that a fair statement for somebody to spec this, even if it's not a dirty water situation?
I think that's a great question and a great example. If we want to offer our customers kind of the best, like you say, the highest end featured, going to last, a long, long time, then this would be the head to go to, that step-up feature for the customer.
So it's not necessarily, oh, I've got dirty water or reclaimed water. It could very well be, I've just got a situation, a commercial project or something where I really want my client to have the best possible of the RainBird products. Would that be fair then to say that?
Yes,
Okay.
It is.
Well, cool. I'll let you go on then.
Okay, thank you. Now, a new nozzle that launched for us is called the Heman, and it's a high-efficiency variable arc nozzle. And as most of you know, variable arc nozzles normally, traditionally, have not been very good in their performance and their distribution uniformity, but they are flexible. So, from a design standpoint, so we were forced to use them. But this is the first time we as a manufacturer have come out with high efficiency and variable arc called the Heman. And it has exceptional distribution of uniformity, great scheduling coefficients, 0 to 360, superior wind resistance. Something really nice is called an exact edge adjustment, and that is when you actually adjust them, you can feel the different arc settings as you're moving along, and we can match them with the RainBird MPR and U-Series nozzles. So now we're able to go across the entire list of nozzles, MPR nozzles, U-Series nozzles, and the Hemans, and have them all work together under one valve. As I mentioned, we have kind of game change this in that we have Heman nozzles delivering excellent distribution uniformity, which results in improved scheduling coefficients, large water droplets, low trajectory, which resists wind, and this exact edge, very tactile feel to as you're adjusting the arc. I just wanted to remind you again that we still have the U-Series nozzle, which gives you that double watering, the double orifice or dual orifice nozzle for very good close-in watering as well as your long distance in all the patterns, 12 and 15 foot, and they're matched across the set. And then also to remind you that we do have rotary nozzles to radius, the 13 to 18 and 17 to 24, and then 6 arc patterns.
I would just like to, I have one comment on the HE van. I've always, from way back when, really liked the RainBird adjustable arcs. I call them, not vans, but just in the ease of turning that and then watching the spray pattern, increase as you turn it. I have noticed, though, in my own situations that they can get out of adjustment over time. Just the pressure of water going through them makes them slightly contract or expand a little, and you kind of, while it's operating, you really should go around on the old ones and flip them back and forth and readjust them a little, get them back right, into shape. And I noticed these, like you say, tactile feel. I love tactile feel on anything, but instead of just sort of a casual turn, you can feel it sort of click as it goes from one arc to another, and it appears, and maybe you can help me out, it appears it's going to stay in a fixed situation once you put it in there much longer than the old variable arcs. Is that true?
That is true, and so you have both. You have that tactile feel, and because we've gone to that technology, we really can ensure that they will stay in alignment the way they're supposed to.
Thank you.
Okay, good question. Okay, we're going to change gears a little bit and talk about what's new in landscape drip. And part of that is the XF Series drip line tubing. And then since the catalog 2012 launched, we actually came out with a series of fittings for that. And then we have a control zone kit especially dedicated for recycled water. So about 3 years ago, RainBird launched the XFD series. It's our own flat emitter extruded into tubing, and our tubing was reformulated to be quite flexible and quite easy to basically be installed. The old way of any kind of drip tubing, it seemed to have a memory, and you basically lay it out in the sun, go get coffee, come back, and wait for it to settle down before you could use it. But what we've been able to do with our tubing is that it's much more flexible to be able to pull it out and use it basically instantaneously. So we're able to show savings for folks because of the material. It's great to work with. I used to joke about take a 500-foot roll and it gets wrapped around you. I mean, look like the Michelin woman. So, this is definitely a situation where it's much easier to install. And then last year, we launched a subsurface drip line offering for this called the XFS. And it actually won the IA's Product of the Year. And the way we protect the emitter from root intrusion is we have a patented copper shield installed in each emitter. And the spacing is the same as our XFD, spaced at 12, 18, or 24 inches, and the flow is 0.6 or 0.9 gallons per hour, available in 100 and 500-foot rolls. So definitely a family that's been around now for going on 3 years, and we continue to add to this family.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
The XFS, the subsurface, to me holds tremendous potential for a whole lot of reasons. And I think the question I get from our clients is, what is the history of your experimentation for the root intrusion capabilities of avoiding root intrusion? Do you have any idea of any of the kind of testing history that has gone on with that particular drip line?
Very good question. We spent over 10 years developing this product, and it was tested in many sites, but the initial sites that are still in operation were handled at Cal Poly Pomona. And if anyone's been to the irrigation building 45, there are plots back there, and we tested this in all sorts of different kinds of soil, different kinds of turf, and all these little plots are out there where we were testing not only the concepts back in the day, going back about 12, 15 years ago, but then for the last 10 years has been this whole technology using the copper shield. So a lot of research has gone into this, and and then plus we have many sites that have had this installed over the years as well.
Thank you. I suppose you guys could, if somebody had a client and they were trying to sell them on this, and the client's a little, I'm not sure about this, that you have some information on this, kind of the ways of the testing were done, or where, or something like that. Is that available?
That is available, as well as we have what's called site reports, where it is a story or a situation. A lot of our products have site reports, and it's on our website, but it gets into, here's a situation where it was existing turf, and we went in and converted that to subsurface, or here's a new installation, and here's a story about that. And so we have different scenarios that we share through these site reports.
Great, thank you.
Now, we also offer on our website CAD drawings, so a lot of these details are available, as well as we have on our website as well videos that you can see. I was mentioning how flexible our tubing is. You can see that in an install, different examples. We even have a drip zone calculator, which is available on our website, as well as something you can use on your smartphones and iPads. Now, a new product for us that came out after the catalog is a family of fittings that work really well with this drip line tubing. And you'll notice that the barbs are really intense, for lack of a better word. You can really see where the stop, how far to work on the tubing, and know where it's supposed to end. And then we've even added a really handy tool that makes it easy for installing it. So, the contractors, I'm sure, are going to really appreciate the fact that now they can just use this tool. Makes it easy to twist on the fittings. And you can see the different barbs in our in the types of plans we have going on with these fittings. And of course, we still have the Easy Fit compression fittings, which works with any variety of tubing sizes. So of course, that's really nice to work with. And we added some air relief valves to our product. We had the 3/4, and then recently we added the 1/2 inch. A lot of times customers say, well, in subsurface or in even drip under mulch, I can't see it operated. Is it really working? And so we've created kind of this all-in-one drip system indicator. Sometimes it's just an easy way to spec it. I know contractors usually can build this, but maybe giving them one easy model number makes it easy for them to install it at the last end of the zone, and now they know it's working. And we've also added a point source emitter calculator as well. So great tools to help you in your design options. Are there any questions on the drip category?
That's it, I believe, so far.
Okay. Moving on to the controller category. Over the last couple of years, we've been re-enhancing our ESPLX Series. And we're going to go into some of those details right now. When you think about the ESPLX Series, I want you to know that it is quite flexible. We kind of show the Legos in that you get exactly what you want, what the customer needs, and you basically piece this thing together. So they're not forced now to buy features that they're not going to use. They buy what they need, and they get that features as required. We have 2 different controllers as part of the system. We have the ESPLX ME, which is a traditionally wired controller to 48 stations. And then a few years ago, we launched the ESPLX D, which is a 2-wire decoder system. And this eye chart, gives you a number of the feature sets. I'm not going to go into it, but just know that both of them works very similarly, are very similar in how they function. It's just one is traditionally wired, or one is the two-wire decoder. And the way we are able to advance the stations, the traditionally wired goes to 48 using 4, 8, or 12 expansion modules. The ESPLX starts at 50, and then we use the 75 expansion modules to take it to 200 valves. And this is just showing some of the different options for that controller. And of course, there are lots of features on this that I'm not going to get into, but just know that this is definitely lots of great features have been added to these controllers. And then again, we're showing the LXD, the two-wire decoder from 50 to 200 stations. And these are examples of decoders. And again, the same feature set that you would get with the traditionally wired is available on the two-wire decoder. And then this is showing
I have a quick question.
Sure.
The two-wire is a fairly new thing. A lot of people are familiar with them, and a lot of people are. It's a fairly new thing to them. What sort of training classes does RainBird offer? Because controllers are pretty exotic, and I think you need a sit down and a little face time to fully comprehend all the aspects of these. And this is a highly rated controller, the whole ESP series. What sort of classes do you guys offer, and how do you sign up for those classes?
A good question. We offer two different scenarios. One is RainBird Service Corp offers an entire series of training. So there is a class like called the controller training. That's also where you'd see classes like the CLIA, the Certified Landscape Irrigation Auditor class, Introduction to Design, Advanced Design. So that's through RainBird Services. When you go to the RainBird site, on the bottom, you'll see RainBird training, and that's an all-day training on the controllers. The second thing is that in each of the markets, we do have a central control specialist, and working with your area specification rep, we are very happy to meet you at your office or in local breakfast, lunch and learn type events or breakfast events. Bring a group of folks together or come to your office with your team and go over each of these products, especially as you're dealing with a specific product and a project and you need advice on it. Then we're able to bring the samples, come to the site and help you with that specification. So we're there to help you be successful with these products.
Great, thank you.
Now, one unique thing about when you're programming up to 200 valves, that can be a little, for the installation could be pretty difficult. You're putting in all those codes. So we actually have a unique product which is called the Programmable Backup Cartridge. And with a optional barcode pen, we're able now to swipe the barcode on each of the decoders. That information gets filtered into this cartridge, and now we're able to download each of those addresses all at one time. Really nice, very sweet way to do it. Now, each of these controllers can be bumped up to be weather-based using the ET Manager cartridge, which has been around for, probably going on 4 or 5 years. It's based on the ET Manager platform, but it is integral to our controllers. In many markets, that data is free. So in some areas, smaller areas, there may be a slight charge for that weather data, but many areas it's free, so check with your local rep. Now we can also take it and bump it up to be a central control system, which we call IQ. Now in this model, we're kind of showing the idea that we can go traditionally wired or two-wire decoder on IQ. We can go direct, which we call a direct satellite, so we just hook directly into one controller. Or we have the ability to go to one controller, and then that controller, which we call the server, can work with a number of controllers. So where you might see an application would be, let's say you have a school, and on the school building you have one controller, but then out in the baseball field and the football field you have other controllers. And from there you may want to use one communication options to the main controller, the satellite server, and then get to your clients. And this is showing the various communication options, so phone, direct cable, internet, we use radio. We try and help you find the most cost-effective way to communicate to the controller. And we send out authorized service providers who actually go out and will do the testing and make that recommendation. Sometimes you don't know at the time you're designing exactly what it is, so we get you your best guess, and then just before that order is placed, we do send out that authorized service provider and get you that exact situation for that site. And that way you're assured that you're going to have the right communication options. Now, once we get to the main controller, we have a couple ways we can communicate to the different folks out in the field, the little satellites to the different controllers, and that is with a cable or with a radio. And this is showing some examples that we can do a number of different situations. Like a university campus, you may use the LAN or Ethernet, or you may use some hardware depending on what's available. Or corporate campus, they may have old phone lines, and you may be able to take advantage of something like that. In a city park, we may need to use some cellular to get to one park, but maybe we can use cable in another. So we can go a number of different ways, and that's where our authorized service provider comes out and helps with that specification. Here's an example of a state transportation department. Again, we may be using a number of different ways. We try and find the most cost-effective way for that site as possible. There are folks called water managers where they are operating a number of different projects on behalf of a number of different cities or clients. And so we, again, can use a number of different communication options. And this is what the communication card looks like. It's called our NCC. It pops into the back door. And so we can use telephone, cellular, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, or port for radio. And we have the IQ software. Very simple to see, very simple to use. The buttons are, as you're doing a function, those are the buttons that are there so that walks you through which ones to program. A lot of great features. And this is showing what the license code looks like. So when you sign up for this, the programs that you're able to use are listed. And we have the basic software, very economical in its pricing, but then you have the option to add other features like communication features, programming features, advanced ET options where we can pull from 4 different data sources, as well as the feature packs, as well as advanced flow sensing packs. And here's information where you can learn about more things about the IQ system. And I just wanted to remind you that it is quite flexible, and so we are able to come with you, work with your clients to help create the right product for the right application. Are there questions on the ESPLX Series or the IQ system?
I don't believe we have any. Is that right, Katie? Any questions?
None as of now.
Okay.
Well, what I'd like to suggest that if you need the contact for your local rep, feel free to email me, and I will make sure that the RainBird local rep will get with you. We want to make sure you have the latest catalog. We want to make sure that we're there to help you as you're designing some of these projects, to send out our authorized service providers. So, feel free to get a hold of me, and I'll get you in touch with the right person.
Thanks so much, Anita.
I'm going to change the presenter back to you, Dave, so you can show them how they can find all those great
Very great.
parts on the software.
Okay, I'm back here. Let me bring up something real quick. I won't take too long in doing this, but I do want to show you where in Land Effects some of these products are. Wait, there. My audience view now is looking at an AutoCAD screen. So I'm going to go to my Irrigation Manager in Land Effects. I have a project set up already and don't have anything in it. And I'm going to add a head here. and I want to add, let's say, a turf spray head, and I'm going to go to RainBird products. And our spray heads are basically in three methods for each flavor. And what I mean by that, we have an 1800 with an HE van, an 1800, which is the full 1800 product, and then an 1800 with the U series nozzles. So those three options, and then if I scroll down a little bit, I have the RD 1800 with the same three sort of options, either an RD 1800, the full range of fixed arcs and adjustable arcs, or just the HE van, or the U series only. And then if I go down a little bit further, we get the Unispray with all three of those. Now, when I'm looking at these, the HE van, what you're going to get, if you pick that one, you're going to get just HE van. So your contractor really has one nozzle. It's the HE van. It's either 12 or 15 foot, and I understand RainBird is coming out with 10s and 8s and that sort of thing in the near future. But right now it's only 12 and 15 foot, so bear that in mind. But I could see where you specify these on a project and the contractor just has one nozzle, and that's it. It's going to adjust to some arc, or it's going to adjust all the way to a 360. And if you did pick the 1800, what we've done, because we've tested and found the HE vans to be far superior to the older vans, what we've done in our regular 1800 series, when you add it, you get all of the fixed arcs of the different radiuses, and you get all the adjustable arcs, meaning from, I believe, a 4 foot all the way up to even a 17 foot in adjustable arcs. But of those ranges of adjustable arcs, the 12 and the 15 are going to be HE vans. That was a decision that we decided would be the best in the interest of our particular clients. If you really don't like that for some reason, you can edit the description of that and not make that, but we folded that in. The U series, I do want to remind you, does not include any adjustable arcs at all, because we're assuming if you want the U series, you want that particular thing where you have a little spray going down as well as up and out for a more uniform coverage. And if you did want some adjustables and you're using a U series, you add more than one head type. The first type you add will, when you do this, you can have 2 types of turf and 4 types of shrub sprays. If you wanted to use the U series, I would add it. If you wanted also available, let's say, adjustable arcs, I would then add also the HE van, and you'll have 2 different types of heads with 2 different types of symbols attached to them, and you can freely mix them together. They are matched precipitation. So if I went to, let's say, just the HE van and added it to my project, I get all the flavors of the HE van. I'm in a turf situation, so I have a 2-inch pop-up all the way to a 6-inch pop-up here, and then, with or without check valves and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to just pick a PRS 1804, and add it to my project. I'll let it be at 30 PSI. I've added that HE van, and if I click Show Components, what I've added is the 12 or the 15 series, and they are adjustable or up to full circle. So what we do on the full circle is you'll just put a full circle arc in there, or anything else will just be adjustable. You will not have any fixed arcs available. It'll just simply say it's not in this particular project. So if I were to place that, by clicking, placing head, there's my turf spray. If I did add a second turf spray, like my first one is the Uni, my second one is the adjustables, I would, want an adjustable, I'd have to go to the turf spray 2. Obviously, I haven't added it, so there's none in the project. If I look at the radiuses, I just have 12 and 15. Those are my only options. And if I click, let's say, this quarter, it's not in the project. But I could click a full circle and put that in where I want it. And I can click on the adjustable and put those in where I want them. And that's my only options. I happen to be putting a 15 in. Of course, our keyboard commands are pretty cool, where I can, change it from a 15 to a 12 and back up and that sort of thing, and just start adjusting these in there. That's with the Q and the E key. The tab, let's see, the who adjusts. Oh, there it is. The R key or the tab will move it from a 15. Tab will move it to adjustable. If I hit the R key, it'll move it to a full circle. So you can use little keyboard command things while you're going there. So that's how to, kind of the RainBird product line for spray heads is different. We used to just have 3 things: the 1800, the Unispray, and the U Series, and now we have 3 flavors for each of them. And again, you can add, if you wanted to add a, let's say a shrub spray, and you wanted the RD 1800s, we just start with 1800s on here with fixed risers, and then the U, and here's the RD 1800 or the RD 1800 with an AG van or U series. So very easy to pick the RD 1800. The RD 1800 has the same nozzle set available to it as the 1800. It's just whatever body that you happen to want on there. If I were to add a let me go to drip pipe. I did want to show that. I'm going to go over here to drip and add an area for drip line. Anita showed us that new drip line stuff that RainBird has, so let me go over to that. And the LD is, as it says here, a 1/4 inch, and just happens to be alphabetical, so we're seeing that first. 1/4 inch is pretty good for, really small little areas that you have to go in. And then it has the XF series. The XFD is on surface, and there's several options for there. When it says 0612, it means 06 GPH emitter, space 12 inches on center, within the drip line, and then you'll have different row spacings available. And then you have, so there's the XFD, various situations, and the XFS, which is the subsurface, and that's the one with the copper shield technology. So if I did happen to pick an XFS 06, let's say I want something that really puts down some water, I'm going to go over to the 09 12 inches. And that just means on the drip line itself, I'm getting the 9 GPH emitter, 12 inches on center on the drip line. When I click on that, I have options for my row spacing, because we don't know what row spacing you have. And they get pretty wild on here. I go from 9-inch to 22-inch row spacing. 9-inch, so it's even closer than the spacing of the emitters on the drip tubing itself, because clients have asked for that. And then 12 inches on center, so it'll be basically a triangular square grid. Everything's 12 inches on center between rows and between emitters on the pipe itself, or you can go further. Why you would go up to 22 inches, we had a client who was doing a rooftop garden, and they wanted those options for a really wide space on those, just because they felt that worked better. So we have those in. So any of these, if you see something in here that doesn't fit the row spacing you want, just let us know, and we add it in to the system here to make it available to you. And of course, different row spacings will translate to a different amount of gallonage and precipitation rate, etc., going on a particular area. So if I pick 12 inches on center and said add to the project, and picked some pressure that I want for the design pressure for that, I've added that one. And you can add 9 different ones of these. You're going to get a different line type for every one, because I may have a situation where I have this one, and then another situation that's, let's say this is for turf, and I have a shrub area, and then I have a shrub area that I want even less on. You can add multiple ones of these as you place them into your drawing. They're all going to get a different line type and a different symbol basically to represent them. And I believe you can have up to 9 different options for drip line in a project. The controller, if I go back to here, I'm going to add a controller, and that's not a head or a valve. It's auxiliary equipment, and I'm just going to click Add and go right to controller on here and go down to the RainBird product. And we had looked at the ESPLX ME and the LXD. The LXD was a 2-wire controller from 50 to 200 stations. The LXME below it is more traditional wiring, you might call it, and it's in 8 to 48 stations. So what we try to do in this description of them is to clearly, I already know I'm looking at controllers, clearly define what makes this controller different than the other ones, so that you can look down through these descriptions and kind of find something that's close to what you're looking for. You can always click on anything you're doing in Line Effects More Info, go to the manufacturer's website to immediately get some information on that particular product for them. Now, I did have a client in Florida tell me that he had done kind of a study and found that around 32 stations, it's more efficient to use a traditional wire. Over 32 stations, he found it more efficient to use traditional wire for 32 stations or under, and over 32 stations he found it more efficient to use a 2-wire system. Wire is real expensive nowadays. 2-wire is more expensive, you know, in certain situations. It's not the wire, it's the decoders themselves and the extra equipment you have to get. Now, whether that is in fact, you know, completely true or not, I don't know. I'm just mentioning what this one person in their research came up with. So the 2-wire has got a monstrous place to play in the world of, you know, controllers. Traditional certainly does too. If I pick a 2-wire, I have certain options in there. Number of stations, 15, 125, you know, 200. Let's say I just pick one. Often with controllers that have accessories that go with them, we will say, would you like to add accessories now? You don't have to. You can just say no and do it at a different time. You can go, oh, let me just see what it is. If I say yes, I'm going to the specific category of controller accessories, and you can see what they are. Things like pedestals, and this would include the ESPLX Series for a pedestal, ET Manager. Here's your decoders, and they come in 1, 2, 4, 6 decoder addresses, meaning that's how many valves that they'll, you know, go to any one controller, and other accessories, including down here, you know, the range sensors, whether they're wireless or wired, just a whole variety of things that are just simply accessories. So let's say I did pick a pedestal. Here's it for the here's a pedestal right here. I'll just add it to my project. And now I'm still in accessories. I could add more, or I could just simply close that. And I've added 2 things to my project. I've added my controller right here, and I've added a pedestal. And so if I go, oh, you know what, there's another accessory that I wanted, I can go to Add, and instead of going to Controllers, go to, right below it, Controller Accessories. And this is fairly new in Land Effects, so I kind of wanted to point it out. And I'll go to RainBird, and there I'm back to the controller accessories because I wanted to bring in, let's say, a decoder, and you can add more than one decoder type in there and they just have different flavors of decoder, and you can see what it is, including a line surge protection, which you occasionally need to protect your equipment from lightning. These systems with 2-wire are really quite expensive, and all you need is one good lightning strike to destroy like almost everything, and you don't want that. So look up some of those things. Let me just say, single line individual valve, and I'll add that in. So now I've added, that particular item in here and built up those things ready to place into my drawing. I think one thing I wanted to look at with RainBird products is back at heads, the turf rotor head, or shrub rotor, in the RainBird line. A real popular one now is the 5000 PRS. Seems to be, and there's a lot of different, 5000 options. It must be a pretty popular thing because there's a lot of different ones. Here's a 5000 PRS standard angle, 4-6-inch pop-up. I'm in turf, so that's what I have for that. You could have, a 12-inch if you're in a shrub situation, and then, non-potable, potable, check valves, no check valves, what flavor are you looking for? And I'm going to go the 6-inch pop-up with a check valve and a stainless steel riser. Because this is just me, I like the one that costs the most money, just because it's also going to be the one that's the most durable and the client's going to be the most happy with. So, I'll pick a symbol to go with it. I'll pick a design pressure. And again, with rotors, these design pressures you see that are not grayed out are right out of the manufacturer's product literature for their pressure requirements. So you can pick one that fits what you feel you can supply to that very last head. I always add about 25 or 30 psi to whatever I'm looking at here, and that's what I'll need at my source. So at a 45, adding 25 or 30, you'll need more like 75 or 70 at your source to supply that 45 at the very last head as the design pressure. And again, you can do a radius reduction. You can go to view data if you don't know what the performance requirements are for these different pressures. You can go to view data, go to their manufacturer's website and look at that data right there, or have your catalog handy and say, well, this 45 looks pretty good. I added that in, and if I click Show Components, I added in the 1.5 through the 8.0 nozzles. All of those will be available to me on that 5000. The 5000 is a pretty good head. I wouldn't say it goes 50 feet, but that's sort of what the 5000 is indicating. I tend to put in rotors much, closer than what, the manufacturer lists a radius, but that's up to your experience. So certainly, 35, 38 feet in there is a good range for it, but I'd have to actually look at the data to see kind of where I would translate that to. But I did kind of want to show you where those things are that Anita was talking about, the different spray heads, the different kind of drip pipe that they've come out with, and their controllers. Very, very important information, and all pretty new to the irrigation world. And it's all there in Land Effects, ready for you to specify and use. That's basically my story. Did we have any questions, Katie, on anything?
No, there doesn't appear to be any questions.
All right. Well, then what I'll do is basically sign off on this. If you do have any questions, of course, Anita is available at any time, and we're available too. So let us know. And I sure appreciate everybody for coming, and everybody have a great weekend.